Hi guys, during weeks 4 and 5, we looked firstly at division problems and then multiplication problems. The bars that we use to analyse these problems are essentially the same, a whole amount split into equal parts. When we solve multiplication problems, we don't know the whole amount, and when we don't know one of the parts or we don't know the number of parts, we can use a division strategy. We can either share or we can group. This week we're going to mix up the problems, so I'm not going to tell you if they're division or multiplication problems. You need to analyse the problems and work that out for yourself in order to make decisions about the strategy that you're going to choose. To begin with, let's get thinking. Here you can see we've got a bar that's been split into 3 parts. There are 6 sweets in each part, and we can see the total number of sweets is 18. So just like last week, I'm not asking you to solve anything at this point. I'm interested in how many different questions can you come up with based on this information. So pause the video for a few minutes, work with a partner, see how many different questions you can come up with, then share those with the rest of the class. Let's have a look at some possible questions that I could come up with based on this information. So to begin with, I'm going to write a question where I don't know the whole amount. I know there are 6 sweets in each part, and I know there are 3 parts. So what I'm looking for is that whole amount. Batman has 3 bags with 6 sweets in each. How many sweets does he have altogether? In that question there, I'm giving the information that I know. I know there are 6 sweets in each part, and I know there are 3 parts. What I'm looking for is the whole amount. Let's try a question where we don't know the value of each part, so we don't know that there are 6 in each part. We know there are 18 altogether, and we know there are 3 parts. Batman shares 18 sweets equally between 3 bags. How many sweets will there be in each bag? So for that question there, I know the whole amount is 18 sweets. I know the number of parts. I know there are 3 bags, and we're trying to work out the value of each part, which is the number of sweets in each bag. And lastly, what about a question where we don't know the number of parts? We know there are 6 sweets in each part, and we know there are 18 sweets altogether. Batman has 18 sweets altogether. He wants to put them into bags of 6. How many bags will he need? So in that case there, we're giving the information we know, we're giving the whole amount of 18, and we're giving the value of each part, which is 6. What we're asking is, how many parts are there? In this case, how many bags will he need? This time I'd like you to do the same for that green bar. You've got all the information there. The whole amount is 15, the value of each part is 3, and there are 5 parts. So I'm not wanting you to solve anything here. I want you to come up with a question that fits with that bar. For each of the remaining bars, there is an unknown. So for the blue bar, we don't know the whole amount. We know there are 4 parts, and we know each part is worth 7. For the yellow bar, we don't know the value of each part. We know there are 3 parts, and we know the whole amount is 18. And for the red bar, we don't know the number of parts. We know the whole amount is 30, and each part is worth 5. I want you to choose just 1 or 2 of those questions. Can you come up with a problem to fit with the bar, and can you solve it? Pause the video for a few minutes and have a go at that with a partner. It's time to get investigating with a partner. I've got 3 problems I want you to have a go at together. Spider-Man buys 4 packets of stickers. Each packet contains 8 stickers. How many stickers does he have altogether? In question 2, 24 players turn up for football practice. The coach wants to make 6-a-side teams. How many teams will there be? In question 3, Yoda shares 26 cookies between 5 Ewoks. How many cookies should they each get? Remember, the most important thing is not the answer here. I'm interested in how you work those out, so I want you to draw bars to help you analyse them, use whatever resources you've got available to help you solve them, and draw pictures and number lines in order to make your thinking visible. Pause the video, spend 8 to 10 minutes on those, and then share your thinking with the rest of the class. Let's discuss that first problem. Spider-Man buys 4 packets of stickers. Each packet contains 8 stickers. How many stickers does he have altogether? Let's start analysing this by drawing the bar, and that bar represents the whole amount. And in this problem here, the whole amount is the total number of stickers that he has. How many parts are we going to split that bar into? Well, there are 4 packets of stickers, so let's split it into 4 equal parts. Each of those parts represents the number of stickers in just one packet. Now that we've done that, we can put the values in we know. And in this case, we know there are 8 stickers in each packet. What we're trying to work out is the whole amount, the total number of stickers. I'm going to use counters to represent those stickers. So let's put 8 counters in each of those parts. And I know I need to work out how many counters there are all together. So I've got 4 lots of 8, or 4 times 8, or you can see I'm adding 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Now I can record this on my number line. So let's start with 0 stickers to begin with, and I can count on 8. So that's the first packet. So I've now got 8 stickers so far. Let's count on the next packet. That's another 8, which takes me to 16 counters. Then I can count on the next 8, which takes me to 24. And then I can count on the last 8, which takes me to 32. So I can see that altogether there are 32 stickers. And I organised those counters into an array. I made 4 rows of 8 to help me work that out. Let's try that a slightly different way. This time I'm going to use other multiplication facts to help me. Now, rather than trying to work out 4 lots of 8 in one go, what I might have done is taken 4 lots of 5. I know 4 lots of 5, or 4 rows of 5, is 20, so I can count on 20 straight away. Then I've got 4 lots of 3, or 4 rows of 3. And 4 rows of 3 makes 12, so I'm then counting on a further 12. When I count on 12 from 20, I get to 32, so once again I get the answer of 32 stickers altogether. Let's discuss that second problem. 24 players turn up for football practice. The coach wants to make 6-a-side teams. How many teams will there be? Let's start with our 24 players. Now this time we want to make 6-a-side teams. We don't know how many teams there are, so we can't use sharing to help us. So this time what we might do is make 1 team at a time. Let's start with our 24 players, and let's take 6 of those players to make our first team. We're taking 6 away from the 24, so now we've got 18 players left. We've got enough to make another team, so let's take away another 6 players. That's our second team, and we're now left with 12 players. We've got enough to make a third team, so let's take 6 away again. And when we take 6 away from 12, we've now got 6 players left, so we've got enough for one last team. All the players have now been put into a team, so if we've got 24 players and we want to make 6-a-side teams, we've got enough to make 4 teams. Let's discuss that third problem. Yoda shares 26 cookies between the 5 Ewoks. How many cookies should they each get? Let's draw a bar to represent that whole amount and split that into 5 parts because we're sharing the cookies between 5 Ewoks. We can share these out one at a time. There's 1 to each Ewok, and that's 5 shared out so far. I've got 21 left. Let's share out another 1 each. That's now 10 shared out so far, and we've got 16 left. We've now got 3 each. That's 15 shared out so far, and we've got 11 left. That's 20 shared out so far. We've got 4 cookies each, and there are 6 left. So we've got enough to give them 1 more cookie each. And we're left with that 1 cookie. So we could say they're enough to give the Ewoks 5 cookies each with 1 spare. However, because it's a cookie, what we could do is cut that into equal parts. We would need 5 equal parts, and when we cut that cookie into 5 equal parts, we create 5/5. I've got enough to give each of the Ewoks 1 of those fifths, which means we can share out that whole amount so that each of the Ewoks gets 5 whole cookies and 1/5 of a cookie. We shared those cookies out 1 at a time, however we could have done that using different numbers. To begin with, I might have given each of the Ewoks 2 cookies at a time. That would be 10 shared out. I've then got enough to give them another 2 at a time, which would be 20 shared out, I could then give them another one cookie, which leaves me with that one remaining cookie that we split into fifths in order to share out equally. Rather than sharing out 2 at a time, I could have shared out 3 at a time, or 4 at a time, or maybe even all 5 at a time. It's time to discuss our success criteria. How did we achieve success? So pause the video for a few minutes, and with a partner I want you to discuss the steps that you would go through in order to solve similar problems. For each of those problems, the first thing that we can do is we can draw the bar. Now the second problem's slightly different. Because I don't know the number of parts, I'm not exactly sure where that bar is going to end. So when I draw that bar, I can leave it open at one side. Once I've done that, I can describe the whole amount. In the first problem, it was the total number of stickers. In the second problem, it was the total players. And in the third problem, it was the total cookies. After that, we can decide how many parts to split the bar into. In the first question, there were 4 packets of stickers, so we split the bar into 4 parts. The second question was different. We didn't know how many teams we would need, so we didn't know how many parts to split that bar into. So we built that bar 1 part at a time. And in question 3, there were 5 Ewoks, so we split that bar into 5 parts. Now that we've done that, we can describe the parts. For the first problem, it was the number of stickers in 1 packet. For the second problem, it was the number of players in 1 team. And for the third problem, it was how many cookies each Ewok was going to get. Now that we've done that, we can write the values we know. In the first problem, we knew the part. We knew 1 packet was 8, but we didn't know the whole amount. In the second problem, we didn't know the number of parts. We knew there was 6 in each team, and we knew there were 24 players altogether. And for the third problem, we knew the whole amount. We knew there were 26 cookies altogether. What we didn't know was how many cookies each of the 5 Ewoks was going to get. Once we've analysed our problem, we can then choose a suitable strategy in order to solve it. It's time to try that out. Can we apply that success criteria that we've just developed in order to analyse and solve the following problems? As usual, I've got 3 questions and 3 sets of numbers within each of those problems. Use the numbers that are most suitable for you. For the first question, I'm going to use the yellow value. Rocket is packing eggs into boxes. Each box holds 6 eggs. How many boxes are needed for 12 eggs? For question 2, I'm going to use the green value. Marge buys 5 concert tickets costing £12 each. How much does she pay altogether? And for the third question, I'm going to use the red value. The Guardians are sharing out sweets equally. They have 95 sweets altogether. How many sweets should they each get? If you solve all 3 questions in the time, why don't you have a go at making up 3 problems for somebody else to analyse and solve? Pause the video for 10 minutes or so, use bars to help you analyse, use whatever resources you've got available to help you solve them, and draw pictures and number lines in order to help you make your thinking visible. It's time to reflect on today's learning, so pause the video for a few minutes, and as a class or with a partner, I want you to consider each of the following questions. What have you learned today? What did you find easy or difficult? Did you get stuck? What helped you when something got tricky? What do you need more help with? What is really making you think? And what are your next steps? The last thing I'd like you to do today is, can you apply what you've learned? So as a class, I want you to discuss, analyse and solve the following problem. Bart has £47 to spend at the shops. He wants to buy 4 comics costing £3 each and spend the rest on action figures that cost £5 each. How many action figures can he buy? Thanks for joining me again today. I hope you enjoyed that. As usual, if you've got any questions at all, contact me at scottmorrow@southayrshire.gov.uk and you can follow me on Twitter at scottmorrowsa. Next week, we're going to continue looking at analysing and solving multiplication and division problems. I hope you can join me then.